Ancient Rome stood at the center of a rising world. Its temples towered above crowded streets. Its forums echoed with debate, trade, and ambition. From above, it looked unstoppable, a civilization of marble, discipline, and power. But beneath the splendor, the Roman Republic was unstable. The city was rich, but divided, powerful, but fragile. And inside its political heart, a struggle was already underway that would change Rome forever. In the Senate, Rome's ruling class fought constantly for influence. Men in white togas spoke of law, honor, and the Republic, but behind the speeches were rivalry, ego, and fear. Beyond the marble halls, inequality was impossible to ignore. The rich lived in luxury. The poor struggled in crowded streets and markets. The Republic was growing, but its success was not shared equally. It was into this world of ambition and imbalance that Julius Caesar was born. In 100 BC, Julius Caesar entered the world as a member of a noble Roman family. His name carried ancestry, but not supreme power. He was born into status, yet not into dominance. As a young man, Caesar moved through the forums and streets of Rome, absorbing everything around him. The language of politics, the hunger for legacy, the theater of public life. He studied by candlelight, surrounded by scrolls, maps, and the memory of great Roman names. Even then, it was clear he did not intend to live an ordinary life. But Rome at that time belonged to another powerful man, Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Sulla ruled as dictator through fear, intimidation, and bloodshed. His enemies were crushed, his word was law. When Caesar was ordered to submit, he refused. It was a dangerous act. He was young, politically vulnerable, and standing against one of the most feared men in Rome. That decision placed his life at risk and forced him into temporary exile. It was Caesar's first lesson in Roman power. In this city, survival depended not only on intelligence, but on nerve. During his years away from Rome, Caesar was captured by pirates in the Mediterranean, but even in captivity, he behaved with startling confidence. He laughed with his captors, mocked them, told them they had asked for too little ransom, as though they had failed to recognize his true value. When the ransom was paid and he was released, Caesar did not forget. He raised ships, hunted the pirates down, captured them, and punished them. It was a small episode in the wider sweep of history, but it revealed something essential about him. Caesar did not endure humiliation. He answered it. At this point, Rome was dominated by two giants. Pompey the Great was Rome's celebrated military hero, admired by soldiers and citizens alike. Marcus Licinius Crassus was a man of immense wealth, whose influence came not from the battlefield, but from money itself. Caesar saw what others missed. Together, these three men could dominate the Republic. So they formed a political alliance in secret: Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus. History would remember it as the first triumvirate. With their support, Caesar secured the consulship, one of the highest offices in Rome. But office was not enough. He wanted more than rank. He wanted greatness. After his consulship, Caesar left Rome and marched north into Gaul. This was no small assignment. Gaul was vast, cold, tribal, and dangerous. Its forests were deep, its resistance fierce. Rome had entered a world beyond its comfort. The Roman legions moved with discipline through mist and wilderness. Camps rose with order and precision. Scouts moved through dark forest paths. On the other side, Gallic warriors gathered by firelight, preparing to resist the advance of Rome. For Caesar, Gaul was not just a military campaign. It was an opportunity to build something even more valuable than office, legend. In Gaul, Caesar proved himself a commander of exceptional ability. He led from the front, gave orders under pressure, and shaped brutal campaigns into Roman victory. Battle after battle expanded his reputation. The legions fought through mud, smoke, and chaos while Caesar watched, adapted, and commanded. But Caesar did not only fight, he wrote. At night, inside his tent by the light of a candle, he recorded the Gallic War in clear, powerful language. These reports were not neutral documents. They were political weapons. They turned military action into public myth. Back in Rome, people read of his victories with fascination. His fame spread through the Forum. The public admired him. The Senate grew afraid. The balance of Roman politics was now beginning to collapse. Crassus died in the east during a disastrous campaign against Parthia. Without him, the alliance was broken. Pompey, once Caesar's ally, moved closer to the Senate. What had once been a partnership was becoming a rivalry. Inside Rome, men whispered about Caesar's growing power. His armies were loyal. His popularity was rising. His name carried military prestige that no senator could easily challenge. Then came the order. The Senate demanded that Caesar return to Rome and surrender his army. It was not a neutral request. It was a trap. If Caesar obeyed, he would return as a private citizen exposed to prosecution and political destruction. If he refused, he would become an enemy of the state. Caesar gathered his men. At night, beside the Rubicon River, he stood at one of history's great turning points. On the far side of that shallow water lay rebellion, civil war, and the end of political compromise. To cross the Rubicon with an army was illegal. It meant marching against the Republic itself. But Caesar had already made his choice. He stepped forward, his soldiers followed, and in that moment Rome crossed a line from which it could not return. As news spread that Caesar had crossed the Rubicon, Rome was thrown into panic. Citizens rushed through the streets. Senators scrambled to react. The political class that had once tried to control Caesar now faced the reality of his advance. Pompey and many members of the Senate fled the city. They left Rome behind and prepared to continue the struggle elsewhere. Caesar marched south with disciplined legions beneath dark skies, moving not just toward a city, but toward power itself. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, he entered another struggle for power. There he met Cleopatra, the young queen whose intelligence, ambition, and political instinct would make her one of history's most famous rulers. Their alliance was strategic, but also deeply symbolic. Rome and Egypt, Caesar and Cleopatra, two worlds, both shaped by personal power. Eventually, Caesar returned to Rome in triumph. He rode in ceremonial procession. Crowds cheered, flowers fell through the air. Standards rose above him. He had defeated his enemies. He had bent the Roman world to his will. Back in Rome, Caesar stood at the height of his power. He was named dictator for life. To some, he was the man who had restored order through strength. To others, he was a tyrant in the making, a man whose ambition had grown too large for the Republic to contain. Inside the Senate, fear turned into conspiracy. Men gathered in dark chambers. Daggers were concealed. Plans were made. They told themselves they were defending liberty. But what they were really defending was a world they felt slipping away. On the Ides of March, 44 BC, Julius Caesar entered the Senate. He was no longer the rising politician, the hunted exile, or the ambitious consul. He was the most powerful man in Rome. Then the attack came. Senators surrounded him. Daggers flashed beneath their robes. Caesar was stabbed again and again in the very heart of Roman political life. It was a killing born from fear, resentment, and desperation. The men who struck him believed they were saving the Republic. They were wrong. Caesar's death did not heal Rome. It shattered it further. Civil war returned. Violence, followed violence. And from the chaos rose Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, later known as Augustus. The Roman Republic did not survive Caesar's assassination. Instead, Rome was transformed into an empire. That is Caesar's great historical paradox. He was a defender of Roman greatness, yet also the man who helped destroy the Republic's old order. He was a brilliant general, a master propagandist, a fearless risk-taker, and one of the most ambitious men in history. His rise was extraordinary, his fall was bloody, and his legacy would shape the ancient world for centuries. Julius Caesar did not simply live in history, he changed its direction. On the 12th of July, 100 BC, Julius Caesar was born into a republic. On the 15th of March, 44 BC, he died as dictator for life. Between those two dates, he changed the course of Roman history forever. His enemies thought his death would save Rome. But Caesar's fall did not end his power. It made him immortal. And from the blood spilled on the Ides of March, a new Rome would rise. Not a republic, but an empire.